Hi again, everybody. It's Friday, March 7th. Today I'm going to talk about gravity centers and what is a gravity center. We got a question through the channel on this yesterday, so I'm going to cover this a little bit. Gann used the term gravity center. First thing I always do is go to the dictionary and look for definitions of what these terms are. So when I go and do that, looking at the gravity center or center of gravity, I've found some various definitions on that. A point from which the weight of a body or system may be considered to act. In uniform gravity, it is the same as the center of mass. In physics, an imaginary point in a body of matter where, for convenience in certain calculations, the total weight of the body may be thought to be concentrated. Now, there are multiple definitions, and some of them are a bit different. Another one is this: the center of mass, or the point at which the entire weight of a body may be considered as concentrated, so that if supported at this point, the body would remain in equilibrium in any position. In simple terms, the center of gravity is the balance point of an object, also expressed as the point where all the mass appears to be located. It's a theoretical point at which the total weight of an object is thought to be concentrated. Okay, so a gravity center is going to be a point of attraction. I look at that to be the balance point, or the equilibrium point, or the zone of attraction. So when looking at a price chart, we have time is only moving forward. We have price is moving up and down. So we can use this concept of gravity center or equilibrium point, balance point, or zone of attraction. We can use that on the price scale of a chart. So what I'm going to do is show a couple of things here. Take a look at identifying these potential gravity center areas. So on this particular chart right here, this is a chart of soybeans, and I've highlighted some areas here. I've put a couple of different price projection calculations on here. One of these is based off of a triangle. The other one is based on my Plato calculations, and what I've got are these overlapping price points. Now over to the left, we had the last major high here, and that was back in May last year, so you can see that. So what I do then, look for these cluster points. So what I've done is look for these areas of price projection confluence, and then I mark those out. So you can see that after this high was made, we've got this area here between these first two price lines where I've drawn the red triangle. Price comes down into that zone. The brown line supports it, and then it goes sideways for a week and a half before it breaks. Then it breaks the zone, goes down a level, comes back to that area, and that then rejects it and pushes it back down. That would be what I would consider to be a small gravity center area. The next potential area would be the next cluster point down, where I have the green, brown, and yellow line. You can see what happens. We attacked that area, we went right through. What happens with these areas, when it comes back to that area, it almost always fires the market back down and becomes a key point of support or resistance, and I call that an area of repulsion. When we didn't get a gravity center before that, because the price shot right through it, then becomes this area of repulsion, but could become a gravity center in the future, because these price projections will go forward in time and they have a memory. The next area would be, we have a heavy concentration right here. I didn't mark that one, although you can see that that became an area, key area of support and resistance. The cluster was outside of the zone though, but that did trigger the market back and forth a few times. But then as we get down here into the area of the lows, we have what I consider to be a true gravity center. We have these four lines all in this area, right? Green, blue, yellow, and red. And the market traded down into there, and that area held, and that became an area of consolidation. So your gravity centers are going to be your areas of consolidation. And here we have this point of equilibrium where the market has tried to cut below this zone and keeps coming right back in and above. So this is a very strong area of support or gravity center. What happens, we traded out, we got a three-leg rally up. Market price action immediately shot straight down back into that area with really no correction. What happened then? We bounced around. We're holding in that area for quite some time. I mean, we're almost 2 months in here. We got a breakdown out of there, but it was only for 3 days. It came back up, tried to rally again, got stuck at the same point overhead, came back, and that zone held again, and we've currently bounced out of that zone. So this is, clearly an area of equilibrium, a center of balance point, or an area of attraction that's very strong support. So to this point, we have yet to clear in either direction. We've had 2 starts to the upside, and we got kicked back down again. So this is obviously a great place to initiate long trades from on soybeans, especially if you're looking for a position trade on soybeans. You've got a clear area of entry and a clear point to set your stops from. Now I'm going to move on to something else and show something a little bit different here. So this is an interesting diagram. This is from the Glenn Research Center at NASA. This is showing center of gravity potential areas for various shapes. So we're looking at a triangle, a rectangle, and half a circle, arc, and a couple of star type patterns. Anyway, what shape in here most resembles what we can be looking at in the market? I'm going to go with the triangle because we're looking at, we can take any 2 swings and look at a triangle. And then we can potentially take the triangle and use that for calculations. Now I've got 2 different triangle formulas where I take 2 market swings, create the triangle, and come up with price and time projections. So I'm going to show one example of how to go about doing this. Okay, this is the ES chart, and I'm going to use a couple of triangle configurations here to show something, but first I want to bring in a picture of how to find the center of a triangle. This is a triangle, and what I'm showing here in this picture, I'm using the principle of triangulation to find the center of a triangle. So what we do with this, we come off the corner of a triangle here starting at point A, and we want to draw a line and connect to the midpoint of the opposite side of this triangle between B and C. So we draw that line across to the midpoint. Then we go to the B point and draw a line across to the midpoint between A and C. Then we go to point C and draw a line to the midpoint across of A and B. So I've created tools to do this process, but you can do this manually just measuring on your screen to find these points, so it's not hard to do. And then where the three lines intersect would be the true center of the triangle based on the principle of triangulation, and then we can then use this information for trading purposes. Now I've got two triangles drawn at the recent high in the ES here. The first one, I drew this one in manually. I took the last swing down and the first swing up to the high. I used the principle of triangulation to find the balance point or center of this triangle and drew this upper blue horizontal line through that point, and that became the point of the retracement area. So after that swing down, the market retraced up, came right back up to that level, and traded back down. After the next swing was made, I used the ninja drawing tool for the triangle and dropped a line in for the center of that triangle, which is the lower blue horizontal line that I have here, and that became the resistance point for the next swing up. So now you can see how my triangle tools are projecting these price levels down, and now you can see how these levels worked. This area became strong support, and this is the area of strong support where we're currently at, looking to get a bounce here. Not saying this bear move is over, but I'm looking for a bounce now because we've got strong support here for 4 days. We were able to close slightly below here yesterday, but we're getting some buying activity in here, so it's the potential for a bounce here just based on this price projection information alone. Well, the triangle can be used to project price and time, but I'm not going to give that away here, but I am showing the principle of triangulation and what happens. And you can see how where I've marked out that zone of the two triangle centers. These are back-to-back triangles. The first the last wave down into the wave up to the high, then the first wave down to the retracement high, gives me this zone where I've got this red triangle. And you can see that this is an obvious gravity center in this area where we had this 2.5 weeks of consolidation here between these two tops where the market was really kind of in this sideways pattern. Anyhow, that is what potential gravity center looks like. And then when you put in some triangle principles with that, you can use the triangle center as a point of equilibrium and use other projection techniques to project price out forward and even time based off this triangle. So that's an example of how to do that.